racing boys. NASCAR racing boys. Let's go racing boys. NASCAR racing boys. Oh yeah.
All right. We will not subject you to singing this week the way Phil does every week. Instead, we'll get right to the information. Jeff Owens joining us to talk NASCAR. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Man, we are good, and I hope you are. You tell me, how was 4th of July? You have lived, have you lived in South Carolina almost your whole life? So what is it, 108 degrees? What's the big deal, right?
It's pretty hot, yeah. Yeah, it was brutal yesterday. It's worse today. It's like, 96, 97 where I'm at. I'm actually at an American Legion baseball game right now, and it's still about 95.
It's all
so,
look,
it's brutal.
I played American Legion baseball. It's always 95 degrees at an American Legion baseball game.
That's right. I think that might be a rule or something.
Yes. Oh, boy, do I remember those days. And I was playing at Inman, and, no grass infield. Just something about that Dust Bowl at Inman Mill. A park you might know.
I have been there a time or two. I played over in Greer a little bit, and I think we played Inman and Lyman and all those teams around there, and I'm familiar.
Yep. So that really hit me. I can feel the sweat pouring down through my wool cap. They make us wear wool caps in American Legion, or used to. Jeff Owens joining us. NASCAR, the Cup Series is headed to Chicago. Jeff, last year there was some weather in Chicago, so it wasn't kind of the unveiling they wanted for that race. What was the major takeaway from it, and how do you think it's going to play out this year?
Well, hopefully the weather holds and they have a great weekend. Last year they had just massive rain on Saturday, and it kind of ruined the whole weekend because they had some concerts planned and some other festival events and all that, and then the Xfinity race got shortened, and they had to cram everything into Sunday. The race wound up being okay, but it was just a really disappointing weekend for them because they had all these other activities scheduled around the 4th of July and around, turning the race into an entire weekend and a big festival. And most of it got washed out. So they're hoping for better weather this time. It looks like it's going to cooperate. So they got a lot planned tomorrow with some of the people that were supposed to play last year coming back, doing some music and stuff, and the Xfinity race. And then we got the street race on Sunday. And hopefully the weather holds and it'll be exciting because, that's a unique race. This is the only race NASCAR runs on a street race. It went off pretty well last year, and it's pretty neat to see them race around the streets of Chicago like that with the city in the background. So hopefully we get a good show on Sunday.
Jeff, there's been a lot of parity in NASCAR, and I think maybe, they've engineered it this way somewhat. In the new car, it's something you and I have talked about before, you just don't happen to have – nobody's getting on a hot streak like winning 3 out of 5 races. Doesn't seem to be happening that often anyway that anyone's been able to do that. Now, I'd ask you, is that more the car, or does it have something to do with the schedule? Is NASCAR trying to do some things with the schedule so that you're not seeing the same type of course in back-to-back weeks?
Yeah, I think they are mixing the schedule up a little bit, but I think most of it's the car. The whole idea behind the car was to make the competition closer, and they've done that. And they've made it so close that if you're in the hunt, you can pull off some strategy, you can get track position at the end, you can do all sorts of things to put yourself in a position to win a race. And that's what we're seeing. We got a few guys that have won 2 or 3 races, but we're seeing guys use fuel mileage, late pit stop, 2 tires, 4 tires, and all of that stuff to try to get an advantage. And the competition and the cars are so close that you can do that. And that's why we see so many winners these days. And we very well could see another one this weekend. I think this is a race. We saw the guy from New Zealand win last year. He'll be the favorite again. But I think after seeing this track, racing on it one time, getting a little bit of practice, I think some of your regular Cup guys will be back in the mix this weekend, and we could see another new winner.
Well, we're going to shift gears for you quickly, Jeff. We'll talk about one of the things you're doing now with Sports Collectors Digest. I'll talk to you about that in a second, but I always like to ask you about baseball because very much like me, you are a traditionalist, a purist, or at least you look back on those days fondly. And in Major League Baseball right now, they've got these hideous baseball uniforms they're going to try to trot out for the All-Star game. No one wants to be a part of the home run derby anymore. But ticket sales are doing well. Ratings are doing well. So where are you with All-Star Weekend? I think it's a sad, sad thing that when I was maybe 15 years old, I would have run over my own grandmother to get to the All-Star game on time. And this year, I'm not even sure I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. They've turned it into a show instead of a ball game, with the home run derby and all that. And I do like the home run derby, but there's so many other events, and it's clear, this is not a game that they really care about winning. Where in the old days, unlike the other All-Star games in the NBA and the NFL, the Major League Baseball players took some pride in winning that thing for their league. And you saw competitive games, and you sometimes saw managers managing to win the game. That doesn't happen anymore. They don't care about that anymore. It's a show. The uniforms, I'm with you. I hate them. There's been a uniform controversy all year long because Nike came in, and when Fanatics, which I cover in my business, I cover Fanatics, and they were part of this. But the uniforms this year have just been hideous. They're cheap. They've not worked well. You can watch these games and see these guys soaking wet through their uniforms, and now they rolled out these hideous all-star uniforms. I used to like the days when the guys wore their own uniforms. It added some color to the game and some character. And now they look like they're playing softball, and that's kind of the way it is. So they've I love the game of baseball, and I'm okay with some of the changes they've made in the last few years, but they've made a lot of changes that have ruined the game. And one thing that I've sort of enjoyed and being a little bit enlightened with, with the magazine I work for now, we do a lot of interviews with old-time players, Hall of Famers and stuff like that. We recently had one with Wade Boggs, and we got one in my next issue coming up with Ozzie Smith. And all of these guys say the same thing, that they do not like where the game is going. They're okay with a pitch clock. The other rules they hate, and they just hate the way the game's being played these days. It's all about power and strikeouts, just like we got in college baseball, and they're not fond of that. So the game has changed a lot, no question about it.
Now, that is interesting. So that publication is Sports Collectors Digest. I'm on the website right now, sportscollectorsdigest.com. I mean, one thing about this is it's, you can find out a lot of cool information, and it is, so if you're not even into collecting, you can just look. I'm looking at Jackie Robinson Museum Honors Baseball Great, ranking the best baseball books of 2023. There's just a lot of cool stuff as part of the Sports Collectors Digest, even if you weren't a hardcore collector.
Yeah, we do a lot of history. Basically we deal in nostalgia. That's what we're doing. That's what collecting cards and memorabilia is all about. It's nostalgia. And that's what our publication is about. We tell you about the collecting industry, but we're about nostalgia and history. And that's the part that really appeals to me is being able to cover all these guys. Our next magazine is the biggest one of the year because we got our biggest card show coming up. But my plan sort of got altered a little bit because we just went through the death of Willie Mays. So we've got like a 7-page tribute in there to Willie Mays. He's on the cover. We got some stuff on Jerry West. We recently covered Bill Walton, when he passed away. So it's stuff like that I really enjoy, is looking back into the history of sports and writing about these old icons who have had a tremendous impact not only on sports, but also the collectibles industry. And that's how we tie it all together. So it's a lot of fun. And occasionally we put a little NASCAR in there. But I love covering all of the sports, particularly baseball. But, the sports history stuff is fascinating to me, and I really enjoy dealing with that.
All right, well, Jeff, I've told you before, I think I stuck my Ricky Henderson rookie card in a Smokey and the Bandit VHS cassette holder in a move. I haven't found either one. If I do, I'll find it, and you can get it priced for me.
There you go. If it's a Ricky rookie card, probably worth a few bucks.
1979.
So Ricky says anyway. So. Yep, that's a good one. Ricky likes Ricky's cards.
Ricky likes Ricky's card. Ricky's great. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Ricky
Jeff.
is great.
Talk to you
All
next
right,
week.
guys. Have a good weekend.
That
All right,
is
bye-bye.
Jeff Owens, and